This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on lrodvinetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on lrodvinetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to lrodvinetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. Okay, Meryl.
Hey. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I had a good weekend, and there was juicy news,
There was a lot of crazy stuff
which
going
is my
on
favorite.
over this weekend.
I know. There really is. I'm not glitching for you, am I? I'm gonna close some windows, so I'm hopefully not glitching.
Actually, you have a little bit
I
of
was
a
helping
pause going on.
Okay, I'm gonna close some stuff down. I was helping my boyfriend with his taxes, and so of course I'm blaming him for making me glitch. Okay, well, I'll start us off with the first story, which is kind of a glitch in of itself. And if I get too glitchy, let me know and I can start over. But so everyone's gonna have to stay with me here if you're not part of this. If you don't know this already, I'm gonna teach everyone like a third grader, basically. So there's a show called Summer House on Bravo. Have you ever heard of that show?
I have heard of it, yes.
Okay. So, it details a lot of people that obviously they summer in like the Hamptons, and it's a Bravo show. And usually it hasn't had a ton of like huge news. You know, there's been news here and there. But there was a really big shocking thing that happened this past week when from the cast, West, there's a guy named West and a girl named Amanda. And previously, Amanda, we need like a whole org chart here, but previously Amanda was married to a cast member on it called named Kyle. So there was Amanda and Kyle that were married. Kyle's like this kind of DJ, young party boy, and Amanda was just kind of more of a serious, like stoner girl from what I ascertained. But Amanda and Kyle got divorced, and now Amanda is linking up with another cast member named West, who happens to be the like boyfriend slash crush forever of Amanda's best friend, Sierra. So basically all people want to know, or if you don't understand the situation, you just have to know that Amanda and West are like a very shocking couple, because it kind of betrays like girlhood and like her best friend. And like the guy that her best friend liked forever and was kind of like, they weren't really boyfriend girlfriend, but they were more like hookups. And it's just a weird thing because it's definitely very sneaky. And like all this time, Amanda and Kyle have been married, and people are thinking that this other situationship has been going on like way longer. So some sleuths have thought that this is maybe going on for about like a year or two. But this was huge news. And kind of what I wanted to talk about today is that like people are really coming down on Amanda to the point where she just launched a bathing suit line, and people are just like commenting on the actual business itself and really going for her in like a personal way. She even had a brand deal that dropped her, and just this kind of thing where like when something happens, I don't think it sounds like she's not a very good friend or just person in general, but like once again, I don't think this deserves death threats and like canceling of business, and just like it gets such a serious nature when someone is canceled, that I'm sure she's getting so many messages just full of hate. And it seems like the guy is just at fault too, but like it always seems like women kind of have it a little bit tougher, and like people are mad more at the women than they are at the men. Or it's just kind of like men get a pass because this guy is kind of like a dirty dog anyway, and people just expect it from him. But the amount of vitriol that's going Amanda's way is crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the issues to me with reality type TV is, people have their opinion based on what they see.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is reality TV, and unfortunately, sometimes things are exaggerated quite a bit, and sometimes people get on those reality shows for the wrong reason. So I agree with you. They shouldn't be vilified for what they do, but it's really sad to say, not shocking. I'm not really surprised either, because this does happen quite a bit, especially when you have the quote unquote bad guy or the bad girl in the scene or the storyline. A lot of times people kind of forget they are human.
Yeah, definitely. And like this girl doesn't really seem that great. Like she's not really jumping off the page at me. However, Sierra Miller, the friend that she hurt her, hurt the feelings. Sierra is like everyone loves her, and now Rihanna is a big Bravo fan, and Rihanna is trying to hook her up with Michael B. Jordan. so it's so funny that like remember this happened in Vanderpump Rules where there was a huge like scandal, it was called, and it made its way to the White House basically, where it was like there was a cheating scandal, and Ariana Madix got like a huge treatment where basically now she got to be on Dancing with the Stars, and like she got to be the host of Love Island or some show, or whatever show she was on. And so now people are saying that Sierra is going to be given the Ariana treatment. So pretty much like, and this woman is already like gorgeous, and she seems really nice, and she has a lot of friends. So I think she was already on the up and up, but like this seemed to just catapult her. But what I worry about is sometimes, the pendulum swings. So it's like right now, Sierra is the darling, but I don't want one thing to come out where then everyone like swings back around against her, because I also think that she may have known about this, and I don't want anything to look bad. Like if she knows about this, or if anything comes out kind of against what the internet is like projecting upon her.
That's true. That's true. But just like in other storylines, this is probably not going to be the last we hear of this.
Exactly. And it brings up my final thing I was going to say about it is it definitely brings up like everyone has had a friend that's betrayed them, maybe not with another person or not, but it definitely brings up such situations as like friends that get together, situationships, like can you date someone after your friend likes them for a while? And I'm interested to see what the producers of Summer House will be, because this seems bigger than any like storyline that they could have cooked up.
I agree with you, and that's been a debate for such a long time. Obviously, if they're still dating, that's an absolute no-no. But if someone breaks up, is that person off limits or is it okay?
Yeah,
that conversation's been going on for I don't know how long. It'll be interesting to see what people think because
exactly.
I don't know, Mary, what do you think? Do you think if someone broke up, let's say hypothetical situation, let's say you got two people and the girl breaks up with this guy. It's been a few months and now her friend is interested in this guy. They've dated for several years, but they're no longer together. What do you think, Merle? Are they off
um,
limits?
it depends on what side of the coin I'm on. Whatever works out in my favor. No. I mean, I think you can't help who's going to like who, unfortunately, and like sometimes guys or girls just aren't into the person that likes them back, and unfortunately they'll like your friend, and like that sucks. But to me, if it's someone's like full on boyfriend, then they're off limits. Boyfriend or husband, like they're off limits forever for me. But if it's someone's crush that like maybe didn't like them back, or they had
Mm,
one date or one hookup and it was months go by, like it's worth at least the conversation. Like I don't think it's the worst crime in the world
mm,
if time
okay.
goes by. like if someone dates someone once, that doesn't mean that they're completely off limits to me, like for the rest of the world. But if they're an obvious like relationship, boyfriend, especially husband, like then they're dead to me.
Very well point taken.
Yeah. You know what this whole situation reminds me of too? You know this saying, stop making stupid people famous?
Yes, yes.
That's
I
like
definitely heard that saying.
exactly, because I'm sure a lot of us too. Like, I'm not a fan of Summer House, but when this news broke, I couldn't stop like looking at all of their social medias, and then I'm glad today happened because I'm like, okay, let me get back to reality.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Well, my first story is a feel-good moment. Now, I'm quite sure everyone knows who Tyler Perry is,
Hmm.
but TS workers were told to give back $1,000 that they received from Tyler Perry. Then they were told they can keep it. So, to lay a little clarification on this confusing subject here, TSA workers at Atlanta's Hartsfield Jackson Airport who received a $1,000 gift card from Tyler Perry during the government shutdown were initially told to return them due to federal gift restrictions. But they are now allowed to keep the donations after officials reversed the decision. So, to summarize, Tyler Perry donated $250,000 and $1,000 gift cards to approximately 250 TSA workers struggling during a partial government shutdown. TSA management initially requested that the cards be given back because of federal rules generally prohibiting employees from accepting personal cash gifts. So the resolution is going back and forth between Tyler Perry, people in the government, the Department of Homeland Security. Their legal team cleared the donation, allowing the employees to keep the funds. So the gesture is widely seen as a significant moral boost, with workers describing Perry as a modern day Robin Hood for supporting employees facing food and gas insecurities, according to YouTube and other sources. Personally, I think this is so great for him to do this because, I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit later, one of your stories here, but, with the rising gas prices,
Hmm.
food prices, everything going up. I mean, rent is through the roof now, no matter where you live. And then to go to work and not be paid. I mean, that's a
Yes.
hell of a lot. That's a hell of a lot.
Yes.
So I get the rule, but I'm really glad that they relaxed that rule because, it's hard to be motivated going to work and not getting paid. I don't care how much you love your job. That's not very motivating at all.
I know, and it's been a really long it's been years at this point of like the workers being on and off of work and being off of strike and on strike. And so it's like if you're trying to provide for your family, I know most of us, a lot of us can't just be like, well, I didn't get paid this month. I can easily afford rent and groceries and you know what I mean? Like everyone is not everyone, but a lot of people are like one working month by month with their life. And if they don't get a paycheck for the month, then that really sets them behind.
Oh, absolutely. And sadly enough, that's most Americans. So
Yeah.
that's not an isolated thing. That's most Americans, which is sad. And it's even much more of a sad subject because we shouldn't be talking about this. I mean, TSA workers, this is probably their second or third time going through this nonsense within the
Hmm.
last year or so. I mean, that gets old after a while. And then plus, to date, I want to say over 500 TSA agents quit their job and moved on to something
Oh
else.
my gosh.
So, somehow or another, we need to fix this because this is kind of getting out of control to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It's so funny too because if I was Tyler Perry's publicist, he has such good news and then sometimes controversial news surrounding him. Like I never hear neutral things. It's always like he's doing amazing things for the community and then he's being accused of this, that, and the other thing, So I feel like he keeps his publicist very busy in a good way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when you're a celebrity, you're gonna always have stuff around you. Unfortunately, the bigger you get, the more of a target you become because let's face it, people don't like to see you succeed. So there's always
Yeah.
people that be trying to bring you down. But I commend them for this to to be able to. Now, for him, that $250,000 is nothing because, he's rich, he's a billionaire.
Oh yeah,
But to someone who's struggling paycheck to paycheck and going to work and not getting paid, that's like the world to them. I mean,
absolutely.
that could be their rent, that could be food on the table, it could be a car note and some other bills. There's a lot of things that a person can do when they're struggling with $1,000.
Yep, I agree. And I think that's so good that they got to keep it too, because that would be so, a lot of people too. I'm sure if you get $1,000, you're going to like pay bills with it quickly. Like if you have to give it back a few days later, I feel like 90% of people may not even still have that. They might pay it off a credit card or something.
Personally, I think that was probably the reason that they decided to do that because if you're struggling, like you said, you get that money, you're going to spend it right away on bills or whatever you need to. So I'm glad
Yeah,
they came up to the right decision.
exactly. There's a lot of times I'll have money in my account. I'm like, I'm rich, and then I pay my bills, and I'm like, I'm poor. And it's all within. It's from like 10 a.m. to like noon. So,
Don't feel bad,
well,
Merle. We're all in that boat.
exactly. Okay, mine. It's going to be controversial, so just everyone could bear with me, and I would love everyone's thoughts on it as well. But this is crazy. So Billie Eilish had this stalker for a really long time. Um, Pernell Rousseau, he was 30 years old. I don't know if you've heard about this. She's written some songs about like it too. But basically, this person would come to her house and like at the height of the pandemic, this person appeared at her property 7 separate times over a 2-day period. And this guy would just like go in through the windows and like really, really terrifying stuff. He would write notes to Billie Eilish, like, with like really nonsense. And so clearly this person was not only like out of their minds, but absolutely dangerous to her, so like very much a threat. Now this guy just died. He was struck by a Long Island Railroad train, and he was reportedly jogging near the tracks when the collision occurred. The law investigators told the media that they thought the incident was accidental. Now, of course, like, and I don't think this is the case. I don't think this is the case, but people were like, if Billie was to like put a hit on him or something, then like we can't blame her. Like if I was rich and famous and I had this person that was repeatedly coming to my house, threatening me, leaving weird notes, like I don't want to say definitely, but I also don't want to say that like if I had all the resources in the world, like this is horrible, but maybe I would use some of those resources to like make some decisions, which is crazy. But I don't think this is the case in this thing. I think this was a freak accident, but it's just like sometimes I'm like, how much do we mourn someone that was causing like other people really, really big issues? And kind of like, obviously this is a human and this was someone's son and this was like a human being on earth, but when they're acting in such an evil way, it kind of brings up to me like, do I care? Is this a good thing? Is this, how much do we actually feel for this? And yeah, that was it.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on LRODVnetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on LRODVnetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to LRODVnetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
I mean, I'm quite sure she's probably not really mourning. What
Yeah,
happened?
not at all. I mean, and is it okay to celebrate? Like, that's what I mean is like if this was you and you had a person that was like actively stalking you and really, really scaring you, and we know from history how many times stalkers actually do end up killing their victims, So, like, it's not just like, oh, it's an empty threat. It's like there's many, many stars that have died at the hands of their stalkers. So sometimes I just think you got to be like a person is like a rotten apple and you just got to fling them off the earth. But
I mean, you're human, you know. I mean, you don't wish bad on no one, even people that harm you, but you are human. And I'm quite sure that there are people that have caused you harm. Some people may have caused a little bit of harm, maybe major harm. And, you hear things that happening to them, and the human sides of you know, feels bad. On the inside, maybe you're celebrating, jumping up and down, but you may not want to do
exactly.
not want to do that so everybody can see it. But it's
Yeah.
human to be like, hey, you know what? Karma came and got you, you know?
I know it's a very like philosophical thought, and I would love to hear. Maybe there's like people that are way way above, more enlightened than me that they could feel that. But to me, it's like if you're on Earth producing so much drama and trauma, then
Yes.
like what. But obviously, if this was a loved one and if they had mental issues, of course you're gonna be sad if you know them directly and you love them. And also like why was he jogging on the railroad tracks? I don't really know, but it just seems a little ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is there are consequences in life for everything we do, good and bad. When you put good out in the world, I'm a firm believer it comes back. When you intentionally try to hurt or harm someone, I think that also comes back too. So
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
convict
you're right.
that happened to you, because if you're a horrible person and all of a sudden nobody wants to deal with you, things aren't going right, I don't think that's random. I really don't.
No.
And sometimes people don't put that two and two together to figure out two and two equals four and not six, So
Exactly. If I'm just this is like I mean, don't be mad at me people, but I feel like if I was her, I would have no trouble going to my local best Italian restaurant and finding some Sopranos type creatures and using my money and resources. But but it's okay. And also this person was like literally at her home. The article said that he was like touching her doorknob and doorbell, especially during the pandemic when people were home a lot. And so it's just like it seemed like only a matter of time before something bad was going to happen. So it seems like the universe kind of took care of it.
that is true. That is true. Well, speaking of the universe, I'm quite sure people know who Kid Rock is.
Yes.
So, um, a black Apache helicopter hovered for several minutes in front of Kid Rock home. So, the U.S. Army launched an investigation and administrative review after two AH-634 Apache attack helicopters hovered near musician Kid Rock's Nashville area home over the weekend of March 28th through the 29th. So the reason how people found out is the videos were posted by Kid Rock himself, showing him clapping, saluting, and fist pumping on his pool deck as a black Apache helicopter hovered close by, followed by a second chopper doing a flyby. All right. Nice use of resources there, but
Yeah.
so what makes this even interesting is that the Army 101st Airborne Division, based out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, initiated a review to determine if the crews violated regulations or airspace requirements. Initial reports indicated the air crew involved were suspended, but Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced on April 1st that the suspensions were lifted and no punishment would be issued, stating, "Carry on, Patriots."
Whew. Well, like you said, my first thought is we with all the resources we need in so many directions, this just seems like a crazy display of resource using.
Oh yeah, and then to have didn't have Pete Hegseth go in there and be like, hey, everything's fine. That's probably another subject altogether. But to me, this whole incident is probably a small picture into why people are really getting fed up with the government and getting really pissed off.
I agree.
And the crazy thing about it, Merle, is we're in a war right now, a war that is not going away. That's been more than a few days or a couple of weeks. So this is not a good look at all. And I don't know. I just think that it just pisses people off. I think a lot of people are pretty angry about it.
I do too. I think every administration has like gaslit us to a certain extent. Of course, like they don't tell the American people everything, but I feel like lately the amount of not to use the therapy term like gaslighting all the time, but the amount of kind of wool that's trying to be covered over our eyes that we could blatantly see differently is like I think more people, because of like social media and the internet and how much we can all just find out now of ourselves, I think more and more people are feeling that way, that like it's like, hello, we can see what else is going on and stop trying to lie to us.
That is true. And it's amazing when you hear politicians talk about government spending, about waste, and then you turn around and see a story like this. So,
yeah,
it's kind of like a major contradiction.
Yes. Nope. I agree. And it's it's funny thinking of the really young people that don't know what like a Kid Rock is and just hearing about Kid Rock through like the past year.
That is so true.
Cracks me up.
That
Right?
is so true.
Because we've been new, as the kids say, about Kid Rock for a while, but like if you're just like 21 and 22 and hearing about this for the first time, I imagine it's pretty silly.
Oh, I can see it right now, Merle. They're like, what the hell is a Kid Rock?
Yeah. Because also, isn't he like in his 40s or 50s? Or, I mean, like at least mine. So I don't know. That's so silly to me.
Kid Rock is up there. I want to say, and I could be wrong, I want to say Kid Rock has got to be in his 50s.
Oh, my God.
It may be the low 50s, but I want to say I believe he's in the 50s. And I could be wrong.
Lord.
I could be wrong, but that's what I think he is. But yeah, that's a crazy thing, bro.
Exactly. My silver lining, my positive thing to say is like good for him for having a lot of energy. That's it. Something tells me that I feel like he should make an energy drink or something. Doesn't he? If he doesn't have one already, like he seems like he totally would have like a version of Celsius or Red Bull.
That is true. That is so.
Doesn't he? True. Yeah, and then like people would go to the hospital and stuff. Like this already seems like it should be a business, but well, talking about resources, as we mentioned before, the price of gas is crazy. Do you know how much is gas at your local pump?
At my pumps in Chicago itself, it's like around $5. Out in the burbs, it's like $4 something. And I want to say diesel is about $5.50, maybe even more than that right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. Like by me in Burbank, I think it was like $6.08 or something. Like I filled up. It was like $88 the other day. But there's a lot of talk that as a whole, now we're past $4 for almost everywhere in the United States, which is a record. I think in the last 4 years, it hasn't been this high. And a gas station in California went viral after being caught charging nearly $10 a gallon, leaving drivers stunned in social media in disbelief. Now this is by Big Sur, which it's like up the coast, kind of almost right by like San Francisco and Monterey. It's like up north and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely like you drive up the one and it's like a really, really, really beautiful coastal town. But this is the kind of place that like, if you're low on gas, you need to fill up at this one place because otherwise you're going to be out of luck. And you don't have many options basically. And you're going to be stranded on like this road, an ocean road. So it's like really important that people have gas when you're driving in Big Sur. And the owner said this isn't price gouging, it's survival. Because this station sits in an isolated coastal area with no direct power access, it has to run entirely on generators and transport fuel from over 100 miles away. So I mean, this makes sense to me, not in a good way, but just in a way where like if it's $6 a gallon for me in Burbank. Like, knowing that area in Big Sur, $10 does unfortunately make sense. But that's just so crazy that if you're driving, it's going to cost you like $300, just to fill up.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the big SUVs. You remember the big gigantic SUVs that everybody wanted?
Oh yeah, exactly. So I wonder if people are going to be switching to more electric at this point. It's interesting to note. Like, I would love to know if any of our listeners, if this would be enough to make you like switch over from gas to electric at this point. For me, like, I'm not really ready to make the full electric commitment. Like, I would love to drive a hybrid, but right now I'm still fully on gas.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I'm not totally sold on the infrastructure yet because it's okay if you're driving local with an electric vehicle, but if you're driving across the country, you don't know what areas are going to have support or not. Because
Exactly.
a great example is, let's say you have a vehicle and the vehicle has a range of 500. I mean, it has excellent, which is for an electric car, is a great range. It's really not 500 miles because you have to get back to a charging station. So really safely, you're about 250.
Yeah.
Because if you happen to do that 500 and there's no charging station, you're kind of screwed. And from what I hear, if your car dies on you, it could cause other expensive issues you should never run out of.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's probably keeping me away from it right now is there's a lot of nuances with it where you don't want to fill it all the way up. You want to get it up to so many charges, and you don't want to run all the way out. It's like a lot to remember there. You run out of gas, you just fill it up, put some gas in there, get to a gas station, and you're on your way. So
Exactly.
I'm not going to get there, but I'm like you. I don't think I'm there yet.
Me too. Knowing me and how much I'm at 1% of my battery of my phone, I can't be trusted to can't have my car and my phone at 1% all the time.
Yeah, that would be a good thing, especially when you drive and be like, uh-oh. You run out, and then you look on your phone and see the nearest charging station 20 miles away. Uh-oh.
Exactly. And like this, for people in California, they'll know too, but this Big Sur road that they're talking about, it's like there's one way up, there's one way down, and it's like you don't want to have the empty tank on and have like 8 miles left because that would be a nail biter, so you really don't have any choices. But yeah, $10 a gallon is cray cray.
I gotta ask you, Merle, is really always that much of a gap between that area and where you're at, or do you think they're kind of taking advantage of the situation?
No, knowing where this is, it's like you really are in such a remote area that everything is like so much more expensive there, like even food, whatever, because I think it's the kind of place where, like, in order to get oranges or like supplies, it's like you have to do so much. It really does feel like you're in a different part of like a different country when you're in there.
Okay. Well, I guess it makes sense then. It makes sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, talk about making sense. Our good old buddy, Justin Bieber, he has shared a preview of his Coachella set. So this will be the first time that Justin Bieber is actually in the lineup to play there. Now, he's been there before, I think, as a guest or whatever. He popped up, I think, 1 or 2 times, but from what I hear, he never actually had a performance there, scheduled performance. So Justin Bieber shared a video preview of his upcoming 2026 Coachella set on X, formerly Twitter, on March 31st, 2026. The clip was from an intimate, no phones warm-up show at the Roxy Theater in Los Angeles, which he described as a little sneak preview of his upcoming performance, featuring songs from his 2025 albums, Swag and Swag 2. What do you think, Meryl? Are you excited about this?
Oh my gosh. I don't have Coachella tickets, but I'm not kidding that if one's lands in my lap last minute, I will drive to the desert so fast. I'll pay $80 a gallon. I think this is awesome. And like, I'm not really, I don't have Bieber fever, but I definitely am excited to see what happens. It also just so happens that he's playing the same night that like my favorite girl, Addison Rae, the influencer, the girl that I like is playing too. So, and like, I think this is the best Coachella in a long time. Like Sabrina Carpenter is on the lineup. I'm excited about this lineup. Like I'm really excited. Even though I'm not going, but like I'm excited for Couchella, as they call it, to watch on my couch. But I just think Justin is so talented, and I think he's fought a lot of demons along the way. And I just think I'm always rooting for his success. And I just think he's a real talent in the industry. I think people forget what an actual good voice he has, and like what a good performer he was. So I'm rooting for him to like be really happy musically and make a lot of people happy too.
Me too. It's a good thing. Talk about talent. Meryl, what do you have to know?
Oh, you're so sweet. That's so sweet. Thank you. Well, it's always so funny because while people are at Coachella, I'll be performing to like 4 people in the audience, but it's okay. One show my version of Coachella that I'm very excited about is this Thursday, April 9th, at Flappers in Burbank. I am performing with my good friend Chris Alves, another wonderful comedian that I love so much, and it should be a really good show. It's like a local showcase, so super fun.
Nice. Well, if you're in the area, make sure you come out and support Meryl. Say hi to her. I know she would love to hear from you.
Yep. If you can't afford Coachella, I could get tickets for $0 for people.
Nice. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening to us. We always have fun. We always love hearing from you, and please continue to support us. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
I'm Meryl Climo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on elrodthenetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on elrodthenetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to elrodthenetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.